I'm Ramin,
I'm Dan.
and we are
Two blokes and a mic.
we are two blokes
I
and a
got that
mic.
before you.
You did. You got there ahead of me. I was gonna wait, let it sink in for a minute, but apparently not. No, you're in a hurry there, buddy. So today we're coming back to you with another episode of information you might find useful, especially given recent news events and the fight of the titans between Facebook and Apple. With Apple coming out with a new version of iOS that allows the users, how dare they, allows the users to pick their own privacy settings. Who does Apple think they are? What a bunch of idiots. I mean, really? We can't just mine your data without you
Right.
knowing?
Right.
Anyway,
Exactly.
sorry. So we're here to talk about why that's actually important. It is important. You're in this day and age of heightened awareness of cybersecurity and personal data, etc. There are many, many, many players in the black marketplace looking for your data. And there are many, many players in the regular marketplace looking for your data because your behavior online is a moneymaker.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Has been for years, but because of regulations like GDPR and CCPA, those things have come to light. Before
Correct.
these regulations, they were just free
It's a
market
free for all.
accessing, grabbing as much data as possible.
Yes.
Now you actually have to agree to give this information up, which is why when you go to a website these days, you have to click on the little "I accept your cookies" little bar or whatever it is, and go from there.
My parents always told me never to accept cookies from strangers. It's a bad idea. But this brings me to my actual not funny point, which is if you click on OK, I accept your cookies, then you can do whatever the website is designed to do. But if you say I don't accept you keeping track of my information, they won't let you do what you want to do. So
Right.
what's the plan, Stan?
So we came up with a list of items that we want to talk about that should help with your privacy.
Indeed.
So let's
Lead on,
start.
McDuff.
Let's start with the most obvious one.
Yes.
That everyone should be aware of, and this is convenience versus security,
Yeah.
or data privacy. When you go to a website and it says, "Hey, I'll make it convenient for you. You can use your Facebook account to sign up for our website." As convenient as
bam,
right.
bam, bam. No.
Nina.
Bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea.
But it's so convenient.
Oh, it's very
Why don't
convenient.
I just do that?
It's a single click. Go on, you know you want to click.
So why would you not do this? Well, because as soon as you agree to sign up using your Facebook account, that website or that service now has access to a whole long list of items that, from your history in Facebook, your even your friends,
Yes.
a whole host of items that really is a very invasive.
It is. I mean, invasive marketing has just become the norm now.
Right. Now,
right?
That's not to say, I mean, some of these websites will just literally say a few items when you sign up with your Facebook account. The problem is that often you just don't know. Often, sometimes they will say, "We're only going to access this, this, and this." You trust them, and that's fine. Other times, not so much. So they just say, "Sign up using your Facebook account. We'll access whatever we want to do." They won't really tell you that.
Yeah.
And they have access now to a ton of information
About you,
and potentially your
about
friends.
your friends and neighbors and relatives
Yeah.
and such. Yes. I mean, this kind of data mining approach to marketing is not new. It's been around for a very long time. It's just become increasingly sophisticated and increasingly invasive, which is why I think there are conversations being had about where are the lines drawn. People like Facebook obviously make their money on ad revenue. So the more eyeballs they get in front of an ad, the more money they make, right? So your Facebook account and I will figure out a way to get a video of how to turn this off. Your Facebook account comes, especially on your mobile device, comes turned on by default to keep track of your activities on third-party websites. That means you go shopping on Amazon, you go shopping on Wayfair, or name it. Facebook is keeping track of that, which is why as soon as you get done over there and the next time you pick up your phone and check your Facebook feed, there's an ad from that website you were just on. That's how that happens.
And so back in the day, that used to be kind of considered a little creepy, maybe
It's a
a
lot
little like
creepy. I mean, it really is.
surprising. Now it's potentially dangerous because
Yep.
not only have you got that, but you've got another data entry point for people who want to phishing, who want
Yes.
to gather information about you, who want to build a profile that can then potentially provide an attack on your institutions. By verifying various different things about you, your birthday, your even your social security number, your
Correct.
behavior, all things like that. When fishers with a PH are gathering information, they'll get as much information as they can so that they can fool you into believing that the email or the phone call or whatever it is real. And the more information they have about you, the more convincing they can be. So
Yes.
this is why
And this is
it's
how they
not
gather that
just
information.
it's not just creepy or scary. It's potentially very dangerous.
Yes. Financially, and depending on who the perpetrators are, financially, potentially, and physically dangerous. I think we've reached a point of saturation with this nonsense, and we've been willing to be sort of willing participants in this little social experiment that's been going on for a little over a decade and a half. And I think we've reached a point where there are people outside of our private homes that know more about us than our family members do. That's just
Right.
wrong.
Well,
I don't care. That's just wrong.
One of the reasons that these GDPR and CCPA regulations have come into force is because of the invasion of privacy that has been happening, because of these data breaches that have happened,
Yes.
and leaked tons of information that is really damaging. People's social security, people's credit cards, people's addresses, the date of birth, all of this information. You just look at Yahoo as an example.
Yeah. 3 billion people.
Yeah, something like that.
It was
billions,
absurd.
billions of records were stolen, and that's unacceptable. So, having a level of security, having a level of protection, yes, it might be inconvenient because you've got to click on a little tab that says, "Do you agree to this?" But it's making you aware.
Yes.
Before then, there was no awareness. People were just grabbing your data as much as they could.
And that's what the fight currently is between the two titans, Apple and Facebook. Facebook doesn't want anybody messing with their little world because they make a lot of money stealing your data.
Yeah.
And Apple, their company mission has always been about improving people's lives, and giving people control over their own data is part of that. And so, I applaud them for wanting to produce a product. I mean, the reality is everybody and his mother has an iPhone or an Android. So, that's the conduit through which I reach the world.
Yeah.
And I need
to
to
be
know
honest,
that that's safe.
Google is as concerned about security as Apple. They're a little bit more flexible in their devices, but they had implemented almost a de facto multi-factor authentication with their systems years ago, where you would log into a different your same account with your password and everything else, and it would still ask you, "Hey, I don't recognize this machine. Can you verify in another way? Like open up your Gmail app." And through the application, it's not a multi-factor authentication in the traditional sense, but it is absolutely a multi-factor authentication using their application. And so things like that, you didn't even need to sign up for it, but they implemented it anyway. So I applaud both Google
I
and
do.
Apple.
It is necessary.
Mm.
There are people for whom this data mining is literally a gold mine. It is worth not just billions anymore. We're approaching trillions.
So
right?
Before we waste your entire day, I want to move on to some of the other items.
Rightio.
And let's move on to cookies.
Cookies.
So
Yes.
you've no doubt seen the huge number of requests to store your information on cookies on websites. This is a direct
Result. I think
of CCPA, GDPR regulations that have required those companies to insist that you acknowledge that they're not stealing.
They're taking your data.
They're taking
exactly.
Your data.
You're giving them permission.
Right.
Right.
So what do I do about this? Because like you said earlier, often you go to a website and you're like, well, I don't want you to store my data. Correct. So, well, gosh darn it, let me go to your competitor. Oh, look, it's the
same thing. Yeah.
So if you can't get around that, what you've got to do is clear your browser, clear your cookies, clear your cache.
Routinely, once a month, just blow everything away.
Or if you're particularly concerned, visit the website, do what you want to do, come out of the website, purge.
And clear your cache.
Next time you go in, that cookie's gone. Cookies are stored on your local machine. They're not stored on their servers.
It recognizes you returning from that machine.
Exactly. Correct. So keep a healthy, clean browser. If you want to know how to do that, we can put that in the show notes.
Yes, we will.
Another thing I would suggest with a browser is always run in incognito mode. Unless you have a particular reason not to, incognito by design will not store history, will not store a lot of information. And so it's a much cleaner, and it's not that you have anything to hide, it's for privacy. You want to make sure that they're not collecting information, they're not collecting behavioral information or various other stuff like that. Now, yes, there are ways around that, and I'm sure that the Google still has statistics in incognito mode, but by design, it's
and every browser I think has incognito mode now. So Safari does, Opera does, Firefox does, Chrome does. They all do. Even the Edge. Does.
Well, yeah. I won't go there. So it's put it into this safe browsing, incognito, dark mode, whatever it's called. It is an extra level of protection for your privacy.
Correct.
So that brings me on to VPNs, and I'd like to discuss VPNs before we get too long in the tooth here. Why would I want
us go on forever and ever? No, come on,
never happens. Yeah. Why would I want a VPN? So for the average user at home, just doing regular browsing, regular email, regular streaming, there's really no great need for a VPN. No. A VPN is designed to protect the transmission of data from your machine out to your destination. So why do I want a VPN? Well, there's a number of different reasons. One, if you're going to a lot of different coffee stores where they have free Wi-Fi, or to a football game where they have free Wi-Fi, or you go to a hotel where they have free network connections.
Do you hear the repeating word? Free Wi-Fi, free. Yeah.
When you connect to those networks, you have no idea what else is on that network.
Or who else.
You have no idea what monitoring they have on their network. Are they doing packet sniffing?
No.
Are they doing monitoring? Are they tracking what you're doing? Are they intercepting your information? You have no idea. Using a VPN will protect you from that. What it does, it kind of creates a protection bubble for internet activity around your machine, and it goes all the way out to a trusted server out on the internet somewhere. And from that point, you come out and you can browse as you want to browse. That brings up another good question of having a VPN service that will have your destination be other geographical locations. For example, this didn't used to be the case. I mean, but with, for example, BBC Online, there were certain services that you could, not that I've used it, honestly, that you could have a VPN that would from California, establish a tunnel to the UK and pop up there. And as far as the BBC is concerned, you're coming from the UK. That is, if you come directly from California, you try to go to that BBC website or whatever, it's geofenced. It's called geofencing, meaning it sees that you're coming from California and it says, I'm sorry, but this is only for UK people. Sorry. Those kind of services are relatively rare these days, but they do happen. And so that's another reason that you want a VPN, is so that you can pop out from Australia, from the UK, from France, from Brazil, wherever.
And access entertainment from other parts of the world.
Exactly.
Yes.
When you shouldn't really, because you're not from that country.
Because what? I never understood that whole thing. It's like, what? Because what happens? Is it a licensing issue? Is it a, you know?
Yes. For the BBC, the UK population pays for their service, the BBC's service. People outside of the UK do not. So that example's reason why they geofence. I'm sure there are other reasons for other services, but anyway. And so the takeaway from this is, for VPNs, if you're doing a lot of traveling, if you're doing a lot of connecting to unknown networks, you should get a VPN. It protects your system.
It's a great idea. Again, this is all about keeping your data yours.
Safe. Yes.
Yeah. If you want to share your data, that's fine, but it shouldn't be taken from you.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Two other items.
Yes.
I want to get through.
Okay.
So, one we were discussing a little bit earlier is a credit card application that can plug into your browser. This is a handy little application. I use one. I won't tell you which company it is, but I log into my account, my credit card account, using the little application that's plugged into my browser. And when I go to buy something from a website, it will recognize a credit card entry field and will pop up and ask me if I want to generate a random credit card number that in the back end is tied to my actual credit card number. What that means is that I can create a little entry of all of these different websites where I've created a random number for each one of these websites where I want to buy something. And then I don't have to worry about a data breach.
Correct.
Or some other hack.
Yes.
Because it's a
random generated number.
Right. And it's only designed for that one website. I can go in later on and I can turn that off. I can delete
or
it.
Generate another number.
And I don't have to get another credit card from my credit card company with a new card and then go through all the different accounts and change everything again. It's, oh my God, how many times have we done that?
Right.
So it's a great tool. It's a great thing to do. The other thing is a password manager. I know we've talked about this before, and we've talked about it several times before.
This is a handy tool. You should have one. Yes.
A password manager, it can work in conjunction with your kind of loss of convenience with cookies, because it can store various bits of information. It's not just for passwords. It can be for various other things as well. If you go down the rabbit hole with a password manager, it turns into a single sign-on. So managing other applications and whatnot is super helpful. They start up free and they go up from there.
Correct.
It's a small monthly cost. I would recommend everyone use a password manager.
Yeah,
it's
really.
Not only convenient, but it prevents you from physically typing in your password each time, and therefore having to probably use the same password, even if it is complex.
That never happens.
Right. And God forbid that you use like password 123 or whatever. But or you put it on a little post-it note on your laptop or your desktop or whatever.
Or as a friend of mine's wife does, she has a 3-ring binder next to the monitor that says "My passwords" on the spine.
Right, exactly.
This is a bad idea.
We want to get away from this. Put it in a secured location, and it can generate passwords for you. You don't even have to remember them. And one of the beautiful things is that people will often say, well, I don't want to get a password manager because then I've got to remember all of my passwords and type them all into my password manager. It's going to take me forever. You don't have to do that. It'll sit on your browser. It'll, when you log into your bank or whatever, and you hit enter after you've typed in all of your details, your password manager will pop up and say, hey, do you want me to store that for you? So over time, it builds up all of your passwords.
Correct.
It's not inconvenient. It's very convenient. Next time you go to the website, it'll either populate it for you or give you the option to populate it all.
Correct. Exactly.
It's a no-brainer. You should do this.
It really is a no-brainer, and it's available for browsers on Macs, PC, Linux, mobile,
your cell phone.
iPhones, Android. Really, there's no excuse for not doing it anymore. It's just, come on.
Right.
Take care of yourself. That's the bigger thing. This is all about really, I mean, we talk a lot in our society about self-care. And for some reason we don't associate self-care with keeping our data safe. That's a 40 years ago, our parents didn't have to worry about that crap. Today you do.
Yep.
We're not living in our parents' world anymore. It's a new world, ladies and gentlemen, and the requirements are different. So part of self-care is making sure your data is safe at all times.
Yes. So
other than that,
we'll throw all of those details into the show notes.
Okay.
With links and cross-referencing and everything else, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
If you have any questions, reach out to us. I'm more than happy to have a chat via email. We can set up a meeting if need be. But the point is, be aware of your data. Be aware that everyone is constantly trying to farm as much information as they can about you. That information, you have no idea how it's stored. You have no idea if that's safe. If there's a breach, you could be in a world of hurt. So minimize the risk, minimize the footprint that you have.
Correct.
And just be safe.
Yes, please. And if you currently have an iPhone, upgrade. That's upgradable. Upgrade to the new iOS when it comes out. It'll turn off all of this data gathering nonsense by default, and you will start to get asked to opt in to having your data gathered by various things. So be careful out there. It's important.
And that, ladies and gentlemen,
is that. I think we've wasted enough of people's time now. We can go now.
All right. Perfect. Okay. So, great job. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Indeed. The next episode of Two Blokes and a Mic. We'll see you guys soon. Bye now. Take care.
Bye-bye.